Hello, everyone. Welcome to the DraftKings Daily Trot. I'm Big Italy 42, joined, of course, by Josh Shepardson at BChad50. We're here talking about tonight's enormous slate of action on DraftKings and a lot of aces on the mound, a lot of guys in some good spots, and actually some pretty good prices on some pitchers here where you're going to want to take advantage because, as you know, DraftKings toughen up their pricing, kind of the opposite of FanDuel here, where a lot of these hitters get pretty expensive in good matchups. So if you can get a discount on some pitchers, I mean, you got to take advantage.
Definitely.
All right, bringing things started here at the top. Max Scherzer is $12,000. I mean, I looked at, you can look at all salaries, see the other pitchers who aren't pitching today, and Clayton Kershaw's $12,400. Felix Hernandez is $11,000. I mean, yes, he's been really, really good, but I just don't think there's any way that I could justify paying $12,000 to Max Scherzer in a pick'em.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really steep price. There are a couple really cheap names that we do like, so maybe if he's paired with a couple of cheap guys that we'll name here in a second, you could. But, I mean, $800 last, Matt Harvey. But there's a lot of price points that I like well below that. We know my infatuation with Carlos Carrasco. $7,900. I mean, he's an ace. It's not priced like one. You voiced some concerns about his pitch counts in recent games on the FanDuel podcast, and I'll echo those here. I mean, he hasn't thrown 100 pitches in his last handful of starts, so there are some concerns that maybe he's being babied a little bit by Terry Francona. It's possible maybe he would have hit 100 pitches last game if he weren't getting rocked a little bit by the Tigers, but I love the strikeout stuff. He keeps the ball on the ground, keeps the ball in the strike zone. Yes, Toronto has some scary hitters, but they're mostly right-handed, and Carlos Carrasco is just, I mean, he's so good. He just feels like a steal at under $8,000.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, TJ House mowed these guys down for the first time through the order like yesterday before giving up, what was it, a walker hit to the next six batters. So obviously, you know, TJ House, not 1/100th of the pitcher that Carrasco is. But, yeah, I mean, they're definitely beatable, and he has the stuff to beat them. So I'm with you. That price is tremendous. Scott Kazmir, been one of the better pitchers in the game this year. $7,400 at Texas. We know how bad that Texas lineup is. And this is a Texas team he put up 38 fantasy points against on DraftKings in the first start. 7 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, 10 Ks. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Maybe you don't know, but I think that might be the highest score we've seen from a pitcher so far this year at 38 points.
I don't know,
It's
but
close.
that sounds about right. I mean, I've played every day this year, and I can't think of any that immediately jump out as more than that.
And it's 7.4K. I mean, you know he's got that upside. You literally absolutely know he has that upside against this team that he faced 3 weeks ago.
Well, and the thing is you're actually getting a betting favor here at almost $4,000 less than Scherzer at I mean,
almost 5,000 less.
I'm sorry, almost 5,000 less than Scherzer. I mean, I don't see any way around using Kazmir on here as one of your SPs, whether he's your SP1 or your SP2. If you're pairing him with, just think about this: if you're pairing him with Carlos Carrasco, you're spending $15,300. That's $3,300 more than Scherzer. There's not another pitcher you can pair with Scherzer that's going to cost less than the combination of Carrasco and Kazmir. That's silliness. I mean, that's absurdity.
Yeah, and each of these guys, I mean, Carrasco had a 35-point fantasy outing, so you've got massive upside of those two guys. Probably going to be a pretty popular combo tonight, but, I mean, I don't blame him. These guys have massive upside. I may just go ahead and just throw those two guys in, because even at those price points, you know, if they don't have those huge type of games, but they have an average quality start, 6-7 Ks apiece, they're going to pay off those price tags easily.
Yup. One guy sandwiched in between them that we both like that I think will be mixing and matching in there as well. $7,700 Anthony Desclafini gets a Braves lineup that has a few lefties, which is notable because Desclafini's absolutely nails against right-handed batters, not so much against left-handed batters, but of the trio that I'm thinking of, Nick Markakis, Freddie Freeman, and AJ Przinsky, we'll say one of these is not like the other. Freddie Freeman, very good. The others, more average-ish. Markakis off to a really good start in hitting leadoff. So does he have some potholes to avoid? Yes, but I really like Desclafini's work. He's pounding the strike zone, decent, really good swinging strike rate, good strikeout rate, pitching really well, avoiding hard contact. He's not going to continue to avoid line drives like he has at the rate he has thus far, but I mean, he's not getting barreled up, and I really like what Desclafini's doing. He's another betting favorite, which we love. You want those points for the W, so 7,700 is a really good price point for him.
Yeah, absolutely. There's two more guys we like here. I'm going to
Yep.
go one. You can give the other. Big Salad, Tom Kohler, $5,800. He's a betting favorite as well against Jerome Williams and that awful Phillies lineup. If they're not still worse in the league as of this morning, they're probably second worst in the league. They're just terrible. They can't hit anyone. I mean, they got at the rookie. I can't even remember his name now. The Cardinals rookie they called up yesterday. He only went 2 1/3, but he got hit hard.
Tom Cooney.
Yeah, and he wasn't even throwing any strikes. I mean, it was bad. But either way, you get a betting favorite for under $6,000 against one of the worst offenses in the league. He had a great game out against the Nationals last time, 7 1/3, 0 earned runs, just scattered 6 hits. I mean, I like Tom Kohler as a punt play that can eat up some innings.
I do too, and sticking with that theme at just $200 cheaper, Chris Heston of the San Francisco Giants, big ground ball rate, pitching at AT&T Park, so he's in a run-suppressing environment, facing an Angels lineup that is not playing in an American League ballpark, so no designated hitter, and further making matters worse for them, no Albert Pujols. Pujols is expected to miss tonight's game, is hopeful to be playing Saturday or Sunday. Maybe you see a Pujols pinch hit appearance because he did say he's feeling a little bit better, but Angels lineup has not been very good against right-handed pitchers this year as it stands. It's basically the Cole Calhoun and Mike Trout show. You knock Albert Pujols out of that, and it is just an absolute dumpster fire of just mess on that Angels lineup. So is Heston a great pitcher? Does he have a lot of strikeout upside? Not so much. Slider and curveball do give him a couple pitches that can miss bats if he absolutely needs to, but he's a sinker ball pitcher, and he likes to pitch to ground ball contact, which as a benefit, you're probably going to get a fairly good number of innings from him. You're probably going to get your 7 innings because he pitches to contact. He's not going to run up pitch counts. He doesn't walk many batters. So I like Heston to pile up some innings. He is a betting favorite, so I like him to get the win tonight. Are you going to get a lot of strikeouts? No, but 7 innings, maybe 4 strikeouts. Just a handful of base runners allowed, maybe 1 per inning. You live with that, especially if it's a quality start and he only gives up a run or 2 and gets a W. At $5,600, well worth it. And if you are one of those owners that's looking at Max Scherzer and Matt Harvey, what better way to get exposure to them and still get some bats in your lineup than to pair them with Tom Kohler or Chris Heston?
Yeah, absolutely. And among pitchers on tonight's slate, he has the second highest ground ball rate so far this season behind Carlos Carrasco at 56.3%, just to further your ground ball point there. So, yeah, I mean, I like that spot a lot. And Angels 27th against right-handed pitching so far this season. Kind of surprising there. So, all right, moving on to catcher, where Buster Posey, lefty masher, 5th most expensive behind 2 guys on the DL over here. First base and catcher eligibility at $4,000. I love that price for him tonight.
So do I, and I'm guessing a lot of DraftKings gamers are going to like that price. I fully expect him to be by far the highest owned catcher, but for good reason. Great cash games play. Still going to stick him in some GPPs. If you really want to think outside the box, maybe stick him at first base and throw in another catcher, save some money. Especially if you like another catcher, like, say, Stephen Vogt, who we both like, gets Colby Lewis. Pair the two of them for $7,800 is going to be a unique combination. So, no, you're not getting that low ownership that you like, but because you're using him at a different position and you're grabbing Vogt, if both go off, there aren't going to be many rosters that have that combination.
Yeah. You could throw Gaddis in there, too, and get all 3 of them. He could be in the outfield.
Yes, very true. And naming the other name that I like, Evan Gaddis, $3,900. Really like him against a lefty tonight. Roenis Elias is not a overpowering lefty. Gaddis, favorable lineup spot. Minute Maid Park enhances home runs. You know the deal with Gaddis. Big power. You get those guys on your roster. You save some money. You know what? Let's talk Derby here for a second. It's that idea of hitting the try. I mean, you get 3 horses together that aren't played by other people. You're going to get paid a lot. Well, your 3 horses are Posey, Gaddis, and Vogt in this instance. And no, none of them are going to win the Kentucky Derby tomorrow because they're not going to be running it. But maybe they win you some cash tonight on
so
Kentucky Oaks Day. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that call a lot. And if you want to go really cheap, little contrarian way at $2,200, which is we see that price a lot on FanDuel, not a lot on DraftKings. If he's in the lineup, Tucker Barnhart, $2,200. You're not chasing a home run here. He's not a big power guy from his time in the minors, but he does have a home run each of the last 2 games. And the Reds' offense starting to hit. So, like you mentioned, flamethrower on the other side gives up a lot of hard contact. So, certainly don't chase the home run, but at $2,200, I mean, you throw him in there as a punt, you can do a whole lot with your lineup.
Definitely.
All right, moving on to first base, where I'll leave my favorite player out for now just because I always say him first. So, of course, Adrian Gonzalez, Paul Goldschmidt, those guys all in play. Jose Abreu and Miguel Cabrera, up there. Abreu's $5,700. Yeah, he's in a good spot, but my God, that's a really, really steep price tag for him. I think I would prefer going down a little bit to a guy like Chris Davis, who has similar upside. I'll say it. Joey Votto, $4,700, still underpriced. It's a slap in the man's face, and that's probably why he's hitting the ball so damn well, because he just knows that DraftKings and FanDuel are not respecting his game. So I'm not complaining. Keep his pricing where it is, but he makes for a great play again.
Yep. I like a guy that's $100 less in GPPs because he's priced so close. He's priced the same as Adrian Gonzalez. He's priced the same as Freddie Freeman. Mark Teixeira is going to be way under-owned in GPPs. If you're looking for a contrarian pick, the guy has hit the bulk of his home runs this season as a left-handed batter against right-handed pitchers, and he gets a righty tonight in Justin Masterson that is absolutely lost against left-handed batters, has been for his career. It gets hammered by lefties, so I like Mark Teixeira sending out a text message tonight, perhaps, in the words of John Sterling. Get yourself some Teixeira in your GPPs. Should be low-owned compared to the other first basemen. Digging a little deeper, Chris Carter at 4,400, also outfield eligible. Like him against the lefty, moved back up in the order the other night. If you're not using Carlos Carrasco, Edwin Encarnacion feels like an absolute steal of $4,100, even in a righty-righty matchup. The upside's so immense with him, it's hard to ignore him. But speaking of upside, and a guy who has a much more favorable platoon situation is Mike Napoli, $3,800. Gets to face CC Sabathia, which, if you listen to the FanDuel podcast already, you know that I'm getting right-handed batters in there against CC Sabathia. He is not his peak year self. I know, not exactly a revelation or anything like that, but CC is lost against right-handed batters in recent years. Napoli hammers left-handed pitchers. This is a match made in heaven if you want a bargain play at first base, so I'm going to get some Napoli.
Yeah, I'm with you there, and a lot of big upside at first base, as there usually is, and take advantage from discounts there if you need. Moving on to second base, three guys in particular that we're on tonight. Jose Altuve, always against the lefty, especially against a bad lefty. The guy is just absolutely tremendous. He gets multi-hits in pretty much every single game. He's well on pace to get himself up there in the batting title again. D. Gordon, again, always in play. Stolen bases really heavily weighted on DraftKings. 5 points there. Jerome Williams and his slow delivery. Yes, please. Going to sign me up for that. And Brian Dozier, going to be my favorite play for tournaments at $4,200 against Jose Quintana, who is getting destroyed by right-handed bats. Just so happens to be that Brian Dozier is one of the better second basemen in the game against lefties. So a lot of factors in his favor. Love the Twins tonight. Yeah,
I like those three. There's only a couple names that I will add to the mix. And Robinson Cano facing a right-handed pitcher, facing a bad right-handed pitcher at Minute Maid Park. That's really all you need to know with him. A little bit cheaper, we got Dustin Pedroia at $3,900. Again, right-handed batter facing CC Sabathia next.
Yep, that's pretty much it. There's a lot of good options at second base, so get yourself one of those guys. All those guys in great spots. Moving on to third base, where the darling of yesterday was a big disappointment. Josh Donaldson up there over 5K again. Not a guy I'm playing against Carlos Carrasco outside of a Toronto stack in a tournament. Of course, you can get Miguel Cabrera at third base. You get him wherever you can. He's always every spot's good for Miguel Cabrera, because if he wants to hit the ball a long way, he does. He's just such a tremendous hitter. You've got guys like Manny Machado swinging a hot bat at $4,800 here. But the guy that I'm going to be going towards just so happens to be the 8th most expensive. I know you're a big fan of him as well. Every single night in cash games. Still makes for a good tournament play as well. Matt Carpenter. It's a disgrace that he's the 8th most expensive player at third base tonight at $4,400.
I can't foresee anyone being rostered more heavily than Carpenter at the hot corner. And you know what? At $4,400, why would anyone go higher? Who else are you grabbing that has the high floor and high ceiling that Carpenter does? By far the top third baseman. I'm going to look at your favorite stack, dark horse stack, I should say, for a cheaper option. If I'm not using Carpenter, that's $3,900 Trevor Plouffe, who I would expect to hit cleanup tonight. Really hits left-handed pitching well. That is basically Pluth's calling card. Not much against righties, but he does hammer lefties. So get some Pluth exposure for 3,900. Same price point. Kyle Seager gets Samuel Deduno. $3,900 is a good price point for Kyle Seager. He was back in the lineup last night, so I don't really have any health concerns with him. And those are really the only names that I'm looking at third base. There are not a lot of good options tonight.
No, not at all. One guy that I'm going to go ahead and mention since we're transitioning over to shortstop, if he gets a favorable lineup spot, Xander Bogaerts at $3,900. Not bad. I'm sorry, he's not even $3,900. I'm looking at the wrong price. $3,300. So if he gets a good lineup spot, don't mind him at all. Pretty good numbers against lefties. Still with shortstop eligibility, Hanley Ramirez. I don't know if you know, everyone's over here talking about Nelson Cruz in the season that he's having, but Hanley Ramirez has 10 home runs himself this year, and which just so happens to be the same exact number as Nelson Cruz, same number of RBIs as well. So if you want to chase a hot hitter right now while everyone else is chasing Cruz, I know you're a big fan of this one tonight. Hanley Ramirez at 5K makes for a nice upside play.
Yeah, he just happens to hit right-handed and is facing CC Sabathia, so you know I love that
I heard
play.
that's a good combo.
It is a good combo. I would take him for 400 more than Tulo. Tulo, fine play as well. It's a righty-righty matchup. It's at Petco Park. Again, not favorable situations, but he really is the best hitting shortstop. That's an actual shortstop in the game. Gets a challenge from Hanley, who is still shortstop eligible here at DraftKings. But I mean, those two are a cut above the rest by a wide margin. Because Marcus Semien is only $100 less than Tulo, probably not going to roster him here as heavily as I would at, say, FanDuel, where there is a bigger price gap. But Semien in play, we know Kobe Lewis is terrible against all hitters, not just lefties, not just righties. He's bad against everyone. So I do like some Semien exposure, especially if he continues to hit number 2 for the A's. 4,500, a little steeper than I'd like, but still very usable. Elsewhere, not really seeing a heck of a lot else. I'm probably ponying up a shortstop. I think you can save elsewhere, and I think that's a good place to get yourself a little bit of edge against the competition.
Yeah, only other guys that I really want to throw out there, because I'm a big fan of the Twins, I'm going to put out Danny Santana, outfield and shortstop eligibility at 3,500. And Jimmy Rollins has been terrible. Finally got a home run the other day, second of the season, 3,600. I mean, you like the spot for the Dodgers. You don't necessarily love Jimmy Rollins, but at 3.6K, if he fits, I don't mind that play either.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right, moving on to the outfield here. I already mentioned Nelson Cruz. He's in play any day of the week and twice on Sundays. So Nelson Cruz on fire. Get him if you can. I was one of the many who was very disappointed at him with the bases loaded. I mean, pretty much anything but a double play and you get points. I mean, that was yesterday. You can't expect a home run every time. I mean, I get it. Next time we'll get our grand slam the time I don't roster him. But, you know, Nelson Cruz on fire. Of course, you pay for him. He's $300 more than Mike Trout. So if you want to go with the best player in baseball, best player we've seen in a while, Mike Trout, we'll stop the gushing. We already did plenty of that on the FanDuel podcast if you're looking for that. But he's a great option. I'm a big fan of George Springer. I don't love his price at $5,100, though. He makes for a nice contrarian tournament play because he's so expensive.
Yep.
And then I'll go ahead and throw out a cheap play and then see where you're going also. Ryan Rayburn against the lefty at $2,900 against Mark Burley. Usually hits 5th or 6th against lefty. Last night, for some reason, he hit 6th and Brandon Moss hit 5th against lefty. I don't understand that, but I would expect he's back in the 5 hole after someone tells Terry Francona that didn't make any sense.
That makes sense to me. I'm looking in the outfield at a handful of names. Jay Bruce is priced right if you want to chase some power in GPPs against Mike Fultonwitz. Fultonwitz leans on his fastball heavily. Bruce cheats a little bit, maybe puts a charge into the ball. Looking at more power, I like Chris Carter against the lefty. Mentioned him at first base. Going to mention him in the outfield at $4,400. Law of Mookie Betts at $4,400, hitting leadoff as a right-handed hitter against CC Sabathia. Gotta love some of him. Cole Calhoun, if you're not using Chris Heston, $4,300 is a good price point for using him. Jock Peterson finally moved up in the order. Hit a dinger off of Ryan Vogel's song on Wednesday. $4,100. Really like that price point. Guy that I know you like based on our FanDuel discussion. $4,000. David Peralta looks pretty good. Hitting 5th primarily lately for the Diamondbacks. As long as Chip Hale doesn't do something ridiculous like put AJ Pollock in the outfield or use Ender Enciarte over Peralta, looks like a good play to me. But definitely check your lineup cards because Chip Hale is a little bit unpredictable thus far with his rotations in the outfield. And a guy that you also like from that dark horse stack, $3,900 Torrey Hunter looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more guy I want to throw out there who I should have mentioned at shortstop because they are facing a lefty, usually bats second. A whole lot of controversy last night with this guy, Mike Aviles, who, by the way, if that happens again with the lineups, and it does happen, I'm not throwing out any names, just ask the beat writer. Go look at the Indians beat writer or someone else's beat writer because that's what I did. And he tweeted me a picture of the lineup card which said Mike Aviles. So save yourself the headache and all that nonsense that was going on between 6 and 7. Most of the beat writers are pretty approachable. Just tweet them and ask. I mean, they're more than willing to give you the information. That is their job. So hopefully you weren't one of the people who ended up rostering Jose Ramirez because of that lineup picture, which maybe you don't know what every baseball player looks like. I get paid to know that. So, of course, I know what Mike Aviles looks like. But either way, just if you're in doubt, find the beat writer. I mean, it's just do that. That's a simple way to go. So either way, anyone else you want to mention before we get out of here?
Nope, that's going to wrap it up, and I'm ready to get some lineups and win some money tonight.
Absolutely. Good luck tonight. Check us out on Twitter at DF Cafe. Tons of great content for tonight's slate at dailyfantasycafe.com. We will see you guys tomorrow.